Here's a look at the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra cameras and sound compared to the old S21 Ultra I had, as well as an actual camera, a Sony ZV-E10 as an example. It only takes one look at the back of an S24 to see how far camera technology has come on phones. Most of us feel like we still get a much better photograph with the traditional cameras, but there's no denying the quality of pictures coming off phones with the convenience of being able to throw these things in your pocket and one less thing to carry around. So how do they actually look compared to each other? Let's start with just some simple comparisons here. Now with any one of these, there are people that are experts with these things that can get a lot more performance out of them. I'm talking about just the run-of-the-mill user and what they're gonna do. So if I go to the photo function on both phones as is, and I'm gonna put them in the same 9:16 setting, and I'm going to take a picture with the front-facing camera. So if I flip it around, and now I've got it looking back at me, so it's using the fancy cameras. And if I just sit here and take a picture of this mess of GoPro stuff on my desk without any settings different than just what comes with it, I get this picture. If I take it with the same scene with the old S21, here's what I get. And if I take it with the fancy camera, I get this. Now you can also do closer pictures. Now this is not in portrait mode, it's still in just photo mode. So I can take one with the S24, I can take one with the S21, and I can take one with this ZV-E10. Now the thing I even noticed just in looking at those is that this traditional camera has a lens that just isn't set up for close-ups. In fact, what we'll probably see on the pictures is that the ZV-E10 actually looks very fuzzy. Now let's do something a little bit different. So there's a few pictures there. Now let's take something a little bit longer range. And this is going to include a mix of lights and darks because it's going to be shooting in the lit studio here down a dark hallway. So let's see how it looks in this case. This is with the S24. This is with the S21. And this is the ZV-E10. And obviously these are going to vary a little bit because it depends on where it's focusing, if it's focusing on the near versus the far. So there could be some variance. I'll see all these pictures when I do the editing of the video, but there could be some differences just because of where it's focusing. Now what I'm going to do is dim the lights in here and we'll do some a little bit darker. You can see I still have some window light coming through here, but let's go ahead and use the same S24. And now let's look at some parts over here in the corner. Here's the S24. Here's the S21, and both of them kind of did their thing where they go into, I don't know if call it night mode, but where it's adjusting and it takes, from the time you hit the button, it takes a while to process the photo. And the big camera obviously has different settings. You can do night mode and everything else. I'm just doing the point and click type approach here. Okay, so we've got some different examples there. Now what I'm going to do is go into the portrait function on each of the phones. And the portrait function tends to kind of blur out everything behind it. So what I'll do is set up this dry erase bottle. I'm going to put my lights back on. In portrait mode now, here's with the S24 in portrait mode. Or sorry, that was with the S21. The Sony also has kind of a portrait mode where what it's doing is sort of blurring out that background. The C1 button where it's background defocus is what they call it. So there's another look at a comparison. Now let's do some video clips with them. So I'm going to put them on video, UHD, video, UHD. This is on video as well. Intelligent video to be fair. All right. Now I'm just going to scan the room with it in video. It's the S24. Here's the S21. Here's the Sony. That's a look at photos and video. Let's also take a look at sound. Now I can't plug in a music file to this camera and play it, but I can for these two. They both have the same music library. So if I go to both of them and I find something happy, like they're both just laying here on the mat, so it'll be a fair comparison. And I'm just going to get my microphone down close to it, and this is going to be the S24. And this is going to be the S21. I don't know if you're going to hear a ton of difference between the two, but to me the S24 does sound a little bit better quality sitting here, but it's pretty hard to separate them. So let's try recording video and sound with all three and see how those compare. I'm going to set up all three at once. All right, all three are in recording mode. I'll sit back a little bit here. We'll just do a little test. So let me stop each one. Now that the recording is done, let's look and listen at the video and sound that each of these items recorded. Here's the S24. Here's the S21. And here's the Sony ZV-E10. Any of these devices are going to be great for capturing the moment. It just depends on how professional you want it, which a lot of that is dependent as much on lighting or the ambient sound as anything. But for me, what I like to do is I'll use the big camera, obviously, when I'm doing something like studio work like this. I do like using this for secondary angles because it is capable of doing 4K. So I'll use that to augment my videos with different camera angles. And I love this for doing pictures. There's so much more flexibility way beyond my skill set in something like this for taking photographs, but for just going to whether it's car shows or race events or whatever it might be, these devices have just come so far in their cameras, their microphone, their speakers and that the convenience of having this in your pocket and being able to capture those moments, whether it's just for personal use or for social media or whatever it might be, it's really the best of all worlds. If you haven't done so already, please click on the link below to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell for notifications to let you know when new videos are posted. You can check out the YCC store, see if there's any merch you like, and live for today.